Hey. That's tough. Oh my god. I was gonna do Mark Almania. Saturday morning is here. Something Mark Almania.
Good job, Pedro. Good job.
I was doing all right until I heard someone snicker. Who was that snicker?
That was me. I was like, that Iron Man, it just slowed down on the guitar. It just slowed down on the guitar. Like, what happened?
Hey, well, hold on a moment.
Yeah,
welcome, everyone. Hold on. Welcome, everyone, to the Mark Out Mania.
All right, Pedro, you gotta play it. You gotta play the intro as the outro on our way out. Then, okay?
Oh my God! The true story. I did not prepare a song today. I just thought I was just like, I'll do Iron Man because
something.
You know, we'll get into some reason why, but
and then your fingers got tangled. It's all good.
My fingers got tangled?
I don't know. I heard bing, bing, bell. Like, wait a minute, what happened? Yeah, dude, that sounds good. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That was good right there.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
That wasn't what you played. Everybody's good. How you guys doing in the world of COVID-19, man? You guys staying safe, man? Both you guys all right?
Oh yeah. I mean, luckily I still, it's, it's a little anxiety, sometimes you're driving around and, I mean, the streets are really dead. I mean, there's a lot of people. They say a lot of people in North Carolina are doing really good. Staying home, and I've seen that. It's like with the exception of like some of the grocery stores. Sometimes people are staying in. I think they're sleeping in too more. So it's just kind of dealing with it. So many of my customers are restaurants,
right?
So when I go to deliver to the ones that are still open, their hours are changed, and some of them are doing better than others, and a lot of them are offering takeout, and you can buy a whole bottle of wine to go with your order, and beer as well. So it's you miss, you don't get to see quite everybody, especially that some of the people are the hostesses and hosts and the servers. I know a lot of them are home, and they're trying to do their best to make it through all this stuff, and my heart definitely goes out to them. And my one of my favorite restaurants, Luigi's, are one of the restaurants in the area that they're stepping up, and they make school lunches for the local elementary school close to them, and all the parents have to do is call by, like, I think 10:30 or 11, and tell them how many lunches they need, and they have they do like a rigatoni pasta dish for them, some of them with or without meat, and different stuff, and some bread and things. So it's really nice to see them step up. And they also did they made 65 lunches for the people, for the staff at Moses Cone Hospital the other day too. So it's there is some good going on.
Oh, absolutely.
In all this terrible shit. So
that's actually good to hear. Yeah, that actually is good going on because as you know, because of my heart condition, I can't do my lawn maintenance and all that stuff. So I usually have a guy that comes does it, but he hasn't been able to do it. So I woke up the other day to actually open to lawnmower mode. Somebody was doing my lawn.
Oh wow!
They did the front yard and the backyard and everything.
That's awesome.
So I decided to pay it forward. I was in the store the other day, and I was in the supermarket, like I was getting stuff, and I saw a young lady there struggling with the kids all covered up in the mask and stuff. So I maneuvered my way ahead, and like I paid for their stuff. So I did it without them knowing. So so she pays it forward too. So there's definitely is good going on.
Yeah.
I took care of the groceries. I make sure they were good. So it's just there's definitely good going on. There's definitely good going on. But there are a lot of idiots out there too. But but there's good going on. Now, how about you, Pedro? You good out there in Texas?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Just trying to avoid all the people not doing social distancing and.
Yeah,
and everyone in a mad dash to spend their stimulus checks on electronics and junk. I'm like, oh, maybe you guys should save that for, or pay off some bills.
Yeah, like your mortgage or your rent. Hello.
Or just save it for a rainy day. Or maybe Mysterio mask, But yeah, but they're definitely good people out there and stuff like that. So but as long as you guys are safe, that's good. And everybody listening, stay safe out there. Well, and hopefully the people listening all participated this week in the Madness of March Tag Team Tourney.
Yes, sir.
Finally, we got to the end.
We had the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals.
The Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final 4, and the championship. Bam!
And the Hart Foundation actually made a little run at the Legion of Doom there, in that Final 4. It got close at one point, but then
I'm a little surprised at that.
Yeah, Hawk and Emma pulled away. There's a lot of positivity, a lot of I think we talked about this last week, maybe that the social media is pretty high on Bret Hart right now.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Kaiju Queen. She's in the chat.
Oh, hey.
Kaiju Queen. What's up, Heather?
Cops.
Yeah, it's cops.
The cops ousted Steamboat and Youngblood in the quarterfinals. Yes.
And what we mean by that is Heather said to anybody that votes for
against
Steamboat and Youngblood was the cops.
Yeah. I was definitely a cop this week.
You are a pink and black voting cop.
Yeah, but it was good stuff. It was good stuff. It was a pretty good turnout. It was good.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was a really big fucking undertaking.
Yeah, I know. Zeus is getting headaches. There's a lot of cloudy skies and thunder and lightning around my way because I said, Zeus is at it again with the tournament.
But they as far as how we got to the end, and to think of how we started out with it, there was some interesting upsets along the way. I expected a lot of teams to do better just through social media voting, and then who knew that the Funk Brothers would advance like they did.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Undertaker and Kane would be.
Yeah, that was ugh. I don't know how they do it.
Such bruisers.
Undertaker and Kane have more matches against each other than as a team. I don't get that.
But the Hardys got eliminated by the Von Erichs.
Yeah, I think the Von Erichs are more like sentimental favorites.
Yeah, because they really had to be. They weren't like a classic tag team per se.
No.
They were a feuding tag team. They really needed to be, pissed off at who they were wrestling.
So Zeus, you got to give us the final tally of the championship match.
Or go through the quarterfinals, semifinals, and take us through the whole story of the.
Okay. All right. So,
hold on. I actually hear thunder outside. Zeus is thinking, so there it is. What perfect timing.
Oh no!
It got real dark around here. Zeus, is that you? God damn it!
So, all right. So, on the Sweet 16 is where we kind of say goodbye to the four regions, and that's when Rick and Scott Steiner beat Dorian Terry Funk. Hanson and Brody beat Harlem Heat.
That was an upset. I like Hanson and Brody.
Yeah, it was.
That was an upset.
The Freebirds got close, but they could not catch the Rock and Roll Express.
Fucking balls.
Yeah, and then the Midnights just rode all over Wyndham and Rotunda.
As they should.
Yeah. That'd be a good match because
yeah, it would.
Because Ronnie Garvin and Barry Windham gave the Midnights a hard time. Beat them one time for the U.S. titles, I think.
Ronnie Garvin is one of the most overrated guys ever. Thank God, Barry Windham probably.
But he was over though.
He was over because he had that one punch.
He also had the Garvin Stomp, James.
Oh my God! Please.
That was pretty silly. But then
killing me, Pedro.
On the other side, the Road Warriors defeated Jack and Jerry Briscoe like it was 1983 all over again. Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson beat the British Bulldogs. They went on.
Should.
That was a big run for the Bulldogs. I know a lot of people love them, and I see them. They're still remembered very fondly. And
yeah, a lot of comments of people saying, let's go Bulldogs all the way.
Yeah. Of course, this was supposed to be the year where Davey Boy Smith, went into the
that's right,
the Hall of Fame too. So they're writing that. The Hart Foundation beat the freaking Dudley Boys. That might have been the biggest upset of the whole tourney.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Like Angie and I said, it really was not a surprise at all. There's just one just way more visible to like a broader group of fans than the other.
That's true, but as far as the resume goes,
yeah, I agree. I'm not debating that.
Yeah,
but not even the resume. Hold on, not even the resume, but they're involved in one of the greatest ladder matches in history.
Well, their time together was much longer. They were more successful over different federations. The Hart Foundation was together for about 5-6 years at the most, and they only won two WWF tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it meant something back then, but still, you know, that was that.
I guess. Come on, Devon, get the table.
But you know, that's how that went. Then we had the Elite Eight. The Steiners beat Hanson and Brody.
Brutal.
In another upset, the Midnight Express beat the Rock and Roll Express pretty handily.
Why is that an upset?
Because you know, I mean, the Rock and Roll Express were together for a lot longer. They had a lot more success.
I always thought the Midnights were just a little bit better.
It's not, but it's not about really being better. I mean, it's
true.
I mean,
true,
you know, you're talking about the whole, you know, the whole resume and everything. But yeah, and it's, you know, sadly the Rock and Roll Express. I don't think they were ever really defeated in a high profile matchup by Bobby and Stan. I think the few times
I don't remember that. No.
See, because like the Rock and Roll was kind of fading out as Bobby and Stan were gearing up, and they were kind of gone from Crockett after, you know, like 88, and the Midnights were still there and going strong. So, but I mean, I think Halloween Havoc, 1990. I think the Rock and Roll beat the Midnights in a regular match. So then you know, another upset was the Hart Foundation defeating Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood.
Cops.
And you know, and it was pretty handily. I mean, once again, you know, the WWF, you know, machine and everybody's memories and you know, everybody finally remembering, you know, Brett and you know losing Jim and there's, you know, they have a great look to them, and they, you know, certainly would have been an amazing fucking match if we'd ever gotten that.
Yeah.
The Road Warriors finally got revenge over Tully and Arn Anderson, never beating them for the NWA World Titles. And they made their way into the Final Four by smashing Tully and Arn. It was fairly close there for a little bit.
I can't lie. I voted Tully and Arn. I did. Horseman all the way, baby.
For all the good it did. And never once did I call them the Brainbusters in the tournament.
Thank God.
And then our Final Four was Rick and Scott Steiner over Bobby and Stan, and Hawk and Animal defeated the Road Warriors. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Bobby and Stan beat the
Steiner. Thank God. Yeah, I was happy when they beat the Steiners.
The Steiners were freaking awesome. Like 89 to like 93.
They were awesome. They were awesome, but I don't know. It just, you know, there was one small period where you know, they could actually both move in the ring and wrestle.
I mean, they broke down because they did too many roids and too many crazy shit moves, you know.
Yeah.
The Steiners were like freaks of nature. Like in terms of pure athleticism, they're just like insane, right?
I remember the first time I saw the Frankenstein. I lost it. I was like, what the hell was that?
I agree that if we're talking about quality of matches and stuff, I probably would go Midnight Express over Steiners myself.
Yeah. I voted Midnight Express, by the way. I just wanted to let you know.
But if we're just talking pure athleticism, I mean, in a real fight, the Steiners would murder the Midnight Express for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they'd probably murder the Road Warriors.
Well, then if we're gonna go real fight, then I'm gonna take the Barbarian Ming over everybody. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, don't remind me for omitting them. Don't remind Haku either.
Exactly.
You know, the so that left us with the finals: Hawk and Animal against Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, rematch of 1989, and Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane were riding high as the U.S. and World Tag Team champions in the National Wrestling Alliance. They were forced to vacate the U.S. Tag Team titles, and Road Warriors, who had recently turned heels, came looking for them. They found them. They beat the crap out of them, and I think they won the titles in about 8 minutes.
And that goes to my point what I was talking about yesterday, because you put the match out, you said it was a 60-minute time limit. Yeah. I said in the comment on Twitter that if it went 60 minutes, I think the Rock and Roll could have easily got the 1, 2, 3. Because Hawk and Animal would have been blown up at the 25-minute.
You mean the Midnights?
Midnights.
Yeah. Sorry, the Midnights.
The longer the match went, it definitely would have favored the Midnights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Road Warriors did surprise people on occasion. I mean, they, like that Chi-Town Rumble, Starrcade 87. They went with the Horsemen for quite a while, and that was a dusty finish. They were tag team champions for about 8 seconds until the referee had to DQ them. But as expected, the former AWA, NWA, 2-time WWF World Tag Team, NWA International Tag Team champions, 3-time NWA Georgia National Tag Team champions, Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, overcame the entire field of 64 and reigned supreme.
Congratulations to Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors. Good job. Good job on that tournament, Zeus. Excellent work, my friend. Excellent work.
So they beat, if I'm not mistaken here, they beat.
What was the final tally, by the way?
It was a low vote. I cut it short. It was about 66 to 33%. 65-35%.
Okay.
So I mean, the Midnights did pretty well. I mean, but nobody really ever came close.
No.
To the Road Warriors. They beat the Sheep Herders in the first round. They beat in the second round. Usos. And
that would have been an interesting matchup in real life.
Yeah, and then it was they beat the Briscoes. The Briscoes and then the Hart Foundation, and then in the finals.
And then the Midnight School.
Yeah. I mean, if I look back at that that whole that top 16, that was there's quite a lot of teams that didn't make it to the end there, which was pretty interesting. But yeah, I put a lot of work into that. Maybe sometime down the road we'll do another tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
Differently. Some specialty matches in each round or something. Who knows?
That was a great job, by the way, Zeus.
Yes.
Good job. Good job.
So, moving on.
Oh.
I guess we had the big news this week is WWE becoming an essential business of Florida, and
that's because of our ass kissing governor. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's from a lot of money too, and the company that could most afford to hang on to people decided to let go of a bunch of people.
Oh yeah,
mass exodus.
No, exodus of people leaving. This is a mass firing.
Yeah, not an exodus. It's like a.
Now, from what I understand, I believe it was Sean Ross Sapp reported that Vince did start out the the call to everybody with everybody that is leaving will be paid for the next 90 days. So that's better than just getting, dropped, out the window.
True.
You get dropped out the window with a parachute.
Has been a good week for McMahon, huh?
I mean,
does anyone have like the big list? Like,
oh, I read it too. Oh, I had it.
I mean, there's a.
Let me see if I can find it.
I think it just search the hashtag WWE releases.
I know there were a lot of big names on it, like Zack Ryder was a surprise, Anderson and Gallows was a surprise, Angle. How about Mike Chioda? My God, he was a referee for the past 20 years there.
Yeah, that was a huge surprise to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was out hurt too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people went,
Oh yeah, there was and they got to file bankruptcy on the XFL.
Yep, I think they had no choice to do that. He said too because the WWE was like 22% investors in that. So, and if they owed their creditors, they didn't want to start. WWE started. They didn't have to pay XFL business. So those, I don't think they had any choice but to go bankruptcy.
Let's see.
Like file for bankruptcy.
Okay, so I got one here. It's so Kurt Angle, Aiden English, Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Anderson and Gallows, Heath Slater, EC3, Eric Young, Leo Rush, Lance Storm, Shane Helms, Fit Finley, Scott Armstrong, Pat Buck, Sarah Stock, Sean Davari, Billy Kidman, Mike Rotundo, Sarah Logan, Mike Chioda, the Colognes, Mike and Maria Kanellis, No Way Jose, Zack Ryder, Rusev, Deanna Parazzo, and the Andrea Listenberger, who was the writer behind Mandy and Otis.
Wow, that's a big list. How long Fit Philly's been with them? Like almost 20 years, right? With him?
Well, off and on. He was off. He's had a few stretches away, but yeah.
Yeah, he's been an agent with them for a long time. Wow.
I feel like Rusev in the right hands could be something for someone.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it's AEW, but I think someone else.
He could go anywhere. I mean, a lot of these people could go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's not forget about the revival, man. They actually left before all this happened.
Right. They turned down huge money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, good Lord, can you imagine if they just stayed, got a big signing bonus, and they got released? On top of that, they'd be sitting really pretty. But I'm sure they were sitting pretty anyway, because they walked away from that, knowing that they were going to make less anywhere else. But that when you when you look at somebody like Rusev, I mean, he could go Ring of Honor, he could go Impact, he could go AEW. I mean, he could go just about anywhere.
New Japan.
The crazy thing is, though, with the situation that we're in with the world, this is like some asshole who was holding on to a bunch of stock and then just dumps it out when the market's flooded and stagnant.
Yeah.
is what is essentially what he did. And and we've talked about Vince McMahon hoarding talent for years. That they just sign people, and people that are basically doing nothing for so long. Before this shit with Mandy and Otis, Mandy just been a prop.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
She just nothing in the ring, nothing special in the ring. All she is hot looking. Sonya Deville, much more interesting of a character, much more fun to watch as a wrestler. But they've been lumped together because they're buddies, and so now they're finally doing something interesting with them after what, 3 years?
Yeah. Did you see that promo last night on SmackDown? Where Sonya Deville called her, you're nothing but like a fake Barbie doll, a dime a dozen blonde. So finally it's getting interesting, and now this shit happens, with Otis.
I have thoughts on that promo.
Okay.
Because I turned on SmackDown last night, and it was the segment with Sonya Deville and Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and I felt embarrassed that I had turned on the TV and I watched this. And then I see everyone, like I've been through various message boards and wrestling Twitter, and people are like, it was so good. It was such a great promo. And I was just like, are y'all fucking crazy? It was very cringy. I don't know what people saw in this segment.
I don't like that face that Sonya Deville made. I was like, is she gonna cry? Is she gonna get mean? Is she look like Mr. T from Rocky 3? She had that face on like she was either she was crying or she was constipated. Which one was it?
I didn't get it. I didn't think it was a great segment.
No, I didn't either. I tried watching SmackDown yesterday, so I was like, oh.
Was the rest of it that bad, or was it?
You know what, Pedro? To be honest, it became background noise after about 20 minutes. I wasn't even paying attention. I know that the New Day won the belts back. I know that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Biggie won the belts back, and it's funny because I was watching the match with Tamina, so we get Sasha back, and I couldn't help what you guys were saying last week. How all of a sudden, Jimmy Snuka thing was going to air. Like Dark Side of the Ring this week was aired. And now all of a sudden, because Tamina's getting the push. Yeah, because then she went over on Sasha Banks yesterday, too.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. God. Yep. 2 super kicks, 1, 2, 3.
What are you going to do?
Hey, that Dark Side of the Ring, I felt it was kind of disappointing. It was very underwhelming.
Very. There wasn't many people to talk to because it was so, something is so.
It was a downer.
Well,
it's just sad. It just really is.
The whole situation. Yeah.
I felt we got more information out of articles and stuff in the past than we did out of this episode.
Yeah, it's just such an old story, but I'm glad that it. Well, you just don't know,
That's the thing I took from it was like I didn't know that Snuka was that much of a handle. Like everybody didn't want to handle him, like everybody had to go on their road with him, like the babysitter. Like I didn't know he was that much of a, he was too hard to handle like that.
Drugs, James.
Yeah,
drugs.
Hell of a thing.
They did, and it's funny because you've got these guys who are supposedly, wrestling fans that are doing these, Dark Side of the Ring things, and they really kind of glossed over. They didn't even mention the fact, that Snuka and Morocco both ended up in early ECW.
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Jimmy Snuka was the first ECW champion.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think that was worth mentioning,
Yeah.
just because it, kind of, a couple of guys like that, kind of, sadly help set the shitty tone of some of the bad kind of people that, would end up there.
And I loved Morocco because he was my man back in the '80s. I loved the Magnificent Morocco, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I told
even
you
he
guys
said
that
he was
story about.
selfish. Even he said he was selfish. You wanted Snuka in the ring. He didn't care. He was selfish. He wanted to make the money.
I mean, that's the wrestling business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a nutshell, that's the wrestling business. Like,
I've seen Jimmy Snuka in Madison Square Garden. I don't know how many times.
Oh wow!
I've seen him do the Superfly off the top rope at least 3 times at the Garden. And that was back when you were a kid. You're like, wow! You're in a maze, And then you hear that during that time that he was like that. He was coked out all the time, and he was hard to handle. He legitimately needed a babysitter. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was like, wow.
I think I saw him in '91. Yeah, he lost to IRS, beat him. I saw that house show in '91.
I don't think I ever got to see Snuka, and he was a big deal here in Mid Atlantic too.
Yeah, he was. He was tag team champion.
Yeah. So he had the world in his hands for a long time, and I think that last run in WWF was it was kind of. I thought it was kind of one of those sadly stereotype roles that guys get forced into. He was doing the he's pretty much an ape man.
Yeah.
That 1989 to early '90s run, or
the stuff where he was like where like he was getting bounced. He was getting bounced in matches pretty handily by guys like Rick Rude and stuff like that. So
I mean, I don't know who's the one who said it the Dark Side of the Ring episode, but somebody said that he was supposed to be the Hulk Hogan. He was supposed to be Hulk Hogan before Hogan got there. He was big.
I have heard that before. That was kind of the plan, because he was getting so over.
I mean, he was over as a face. He did the Superfly. I mean, he was over. He was over when he got hit in the face with the coconut by Piper.
I mean, do you remember his match against Bob Backlund in the cage?
Yeah,
he was technically a heel in Madison Square
Park?
Right.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was
like he came off the cage in that match too, but no one remembers that bit. But I'm sorry.
Well, they did for a long time. PWI and those magazines talked about that match more than the match with Morocco. What I remember in through the 80s and the early 90s, that
was a big match with Backlund. Yeah, that was a big match
when it came to Snuka. So, be that as it may, but yeah, I mean it's very sad. Him, getting like that, it just head trauma plus drugs plus alcohol is just, it's a terrible combination for the people.
The way he showed up at the funeral, I mean, wearing flip flops and the shortest shorts. I mean, tank top.
Yeah.
Brutal. That's I think it goes to what you said, Zeus. Like the head trauma, and then you put drugs and alcohol to play. It's a bad mix. But wow, that just turned everybody out. A downer, right? Jesus. I know, but on the positive side, as the credits were rolling in the NXT on Wednesday, a mysterious man just jumped Tommaso Ciampa from behind as he was cutting a promo against Gargano, saying that we're done, we're over with, no more Johnny Gargano, you're the better man. All of a sudden, somebody jumped Ciampa from behind, and you heard some brutal punches and some grunts, and you see Ciampa laying down on his side, and the ace just leans over him, and it's Killer Cross, baby. That was hot, and the boot of Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah,
kind of saucy.
Yes.
Although he's not being called Killer Cross, he's being called
Carrion.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Carrion Cross.
Carrying Cross.
Which is weird,
you know, you can't put
okay.
Killer.
I mean,
Well, you know, WWE's not gonna use Killer in anything. You know.
yeah. I mean, I don't care because we know who he is.
Yeah.
You know, we know it's Cross, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So he's carrying Cross, officially carrying Cross.
Honestly, carrying is disgusting.
Yeah.
it's rotting flesh, and
I thought the same thing. I'm like,
it's but hey, okay, whatever. And just I'm thrilled for him. I'm glad they're pushing him. Kind of right to the top, and
it's a huge program to start with versus Ciampa.
Yeah, that's big.
I mean, he's big too. Ciampa not so much.
Right.
He's a little dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ciampa's a big name in NXT, so that's a big, that's like a big push right away.
Mandy Rose's actual boyfriend was in NXT, and he got cut too.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Zeus. Thanks for clearing that up. Thank you.
We're very worried about that.
Yeah, I know, right? No, because I was like confusing with the whole thing with Ziggler because I read somewhere online that Ziggler was trying to write. He was trying to help write the storyline, but he said like his personal life was getting in the way with Mandy. I don't know what the whole thing was, and but then they said they were dating at one point. I don't know. Who the fuck
I mean, it's likely various people have all dated each other, and
yeah, they fucking took a turn. And nothing but trifling whores. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
What? I mean, the whole thing is I don't see a good end game to this stupid fucking story.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because like to me it's like remember when Woman was with the Steiners as cute little Nancy. And and then she screwed up their title match. She caused the Steiners to lose the tag titles to the Freebirds. That's like something I can see that, I mean, like that was a twist you didn't see coming. But I mean, it's like, somebody had to get involved and something had to happen. And, but this whole thing, it's like, I mean, if she's not, really with what's Otis's brother's name? Tucker.
Yeah. He's actually good.
And I mean, if she's not really with him and gonna start a feud with them or whatever, I mean, but now it's a thing with Sonya, and I don't know. It's just fucking stupid. I mean, it's just.
What's the end game, Zeus?
Yeah, that's
I know.
It's frustrating.
On that.
I mean,
that Steiners thing. Wasn't it for a bit they had Missy Hyatt and Woman?
Yeah. Missy Hyatt was because. Because Rick Steiner had been part of Hot Stuff Hyatt International.
Right.
And so Missy Hyatt, because Missy Hyatt took took cute little Nancy and gussied her up. And, you know, they'd had her, you know, so shy and sad looking for so long. You know, I didn't even realize it was, you know, Nancy from, you know, from Fallen Angel and all that at first. And so, I mean, they did a good job back then fooling me.
My favorite incarnation of Nancy was Woman with Sandman in ECW. I love that.
Right. Oh, with Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, when she became Woman with, you know, and then had Doom and Nitron.
Yeah.
Nitron. Remember that? Oh my God. Oh.
He was just so green, you know. He was okay if you see some of his he's not great, but I mean, you know, that's why he became a movie star. You know? I mean, but he was all right. I got to see him live once, so that was kind of cool. He was one of the legitimately really tall guys I've seen you know, in wrestling.
I have a question for you guys. It's been bugging me all week because I was reminiscing about like an old NWA because I went to two NWA house shows in Philly, and our favorite match there on, you know, like actually both shows. I mean, you know, like outside you saw Flair, I saw the Horseman, I saw the Rock. I mean, I saw the Rock and Roll. I saw the Road Warriors, but the guy who got me up the most was Lasertron. he had amazing matches on both shows. Like, that guy was incredible. I love Lasertron.
Well, I mean, that was Hector, right? Or Mondo?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out who was Lasertron.
It
was Mondo or was it Hector?
I'm looking it up.
I was like, I got to ask the boys on Saturday.
It's one of them, isn't
Hector.
it?
It's Hector.
Okay, it was Hector?
Yeah.
God, he was so good.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that good.
Huh?
Jesus.
I think because it was a Guerrero.
Yeah.
He was like
exactly.
He was flying around that ring like he weighed like a $105, you know?
Oh yeah, and you know that, you know it, you know, and he feuded with what's his name? They feuded. He feuded with the New Breed.
Oh yeah. Fuck,
so that was that battle for Cybertron. They should have had. They should have had another Lasertron, you know, or a different guy, you know, with the similar get up for them to have a, you know, a tag team war with, you know, that might have changed the history of pro wrestling if, you know, if New Breed had not gotten injured. And
but then Yoshi Kwan turned into a freak. Oh.
Yeah, so sad. I'll never hate those guys because those were two guys that took a gimmick that should not have done well.
Steve McMichael, yeah, Kaja Queen, we got you.
They were like the blueprint for Too Cool because those two guys embraced that gimmick.
Yeah, they did.
And they put 1,000,000% into their promos. I mean, no lie.
I think Chris Champion, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, James, how was the rest of NXT?
It was okay. It was all right. It wasn't too bad, you know. It was okay, you know. All right.
I haven't seen it yet.
I need to watch it again, you know, because it was like again there was like background noise, you know, because I was like, as I'm trying, it's hard for me to stay invested now, you know, because I feel bad for a lot of the talent that got released. I feel bad for a lot of things going on. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that WWE was deemed essential services in the state of Florida. Again, that's our ass-kissing governor here. But I feel bad for these guys. So it's hard for me to become invested right now in it.
Right.
But I did mark out when Killer Cross showed his face. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh.
Okay, so here's something interesting. All right, I'm going back to the Mongo thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Mongo McMichaels was an NFL football player turned pro wrestler.
The Super Bowl champion.
Right. Alex Karras was the NFL football player who played the character Mongo in Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird?
That's nice. Good job, Zeus.
And
here you go, Heather. He was the Super Bowl champion for the 1986 Bears. Yeah, here you go, Heather. I'll shout out your Bears out.
Yeah, Mongo was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mongo didn't look like a horseman, but he sure acted like it.
The only thing I hated with Stephen Michael was that stupid dog in his tights.
And, that was a callback to me. See, there was a time where Blackjack Mulligan was a face, and he was bringing around. He had a dachshund, and he would bring the little dachshund with him when he was cutting promos. And he would feed him little sausages and stuff.
I felt bad for the dog. If Stephen Michaels dressing them up in outfits, I was like, "Don't do that to that poor dog. What's wrong with you?"
Well, to be fair, that's probably Deborah.
Yeah, put a fucking sombrero on a dog. I'm like, oh, that's brutal.
Oh, come on, Taco Bell.
Yeah, I was just about to do that. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
I was like, oh. But I definitely agree with you about him in the ring. He was very, he was intense in the ring. I think a little stiff at times too.
Yeah, he tried hard. I mean, if we'd had if he'd had that Kevin Green ability as a wrestler, holy shit, Kevin Green, we got so fucked over by the damn NFL for them not allowing him to wrestle in the off season. That was so shitty. He had a lot of potential to be a really exciting, fun guy. I mean, he wasn't great either, but he was fucking over, and he knew how to, he had good body language. He had a good handle of the moves that he was doing,
and he got it.
Yeah,
and he knew how to sell too, which was surprising.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, I'm fantasy booking them two as a tag team.
I got a quick question for you guys.
Okay.
Who was the greatest NFL? Who was the greatest? How should I put this? What NFL player had the greatest impact in wrestling?
Bronco Nagurski.
Really? You want to go Ernie Ladd?
He's Bronco Nagurski is one of the greatest football players to ever live, and one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live.
True.
I mean, he's three-time NWA world champion. I mean, they named a freaking award after him in football. I mean, he was. There's really not much. There's not much of a second place. I mean, at first, he's way out there in front.
I would say the greatest college football player has to be Ron Simmons. Because he won the Heisman, didn't he?
No.
No, he didn't win a Heisman, no, but he won he was an All-American in Florida State. I know that. I think he was a better college football player than The Rock.
Now,
two-time All-American, Ron Simmons.
And he got number retired and everything, right? And plus, he's the first black WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
Are we talking so we're talking combine their American football careers with their wrestling careers? Or are we just talking they went from American football and they had a big impact in wrestling?
Yes.
Because what about Wahoo McDaniel?
Oh,
Wahoo
that's
was,
right. That's
you know,
right. Pedro, very good. Yeah, he played for the Jets, didn't he? And
He
the
played
Redskins.
for a few teams, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
but he was
That's
one of the
right.
guys who kind of exposed the NFL of being cheap asses because he was making more money wrestling in the off season
Yeah, he was.
than he
Yeah.
was playing pro football. He played linebacker for the AFL Oilers and Broncos and became a
Jets.
star when he was traded to the
Mhm.
Jets in '64.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's a good job, Pedro. I totally forgot about Wahoo.
AFL champion in 1960.
I mean, don't you remember the commentators would always bring up his American football career? So
Yeah, well, especially Jim Ross. Jim Ross loved talking about. God,
Yeah.
if you played Pee Wee football, Jim Ross, he played 4 years of Pee Wee football at at Guilford College, elementary school.
Yeah.
Those are some of the 4 toughest years those little boys ever saw.
He was a starting linebacker 3 years
Oh, my
running in
goodness.
Mrs. Cobb backyard league for cookies.
That was the Carolina Huskers, and that doesn't make much sense. Jim Ross was born in North Carolina, but they were called the Huskers, right? Go Huskers!
Well, yeah. Well, that was the best thing of pushing
Oh, my
Steve
goodness.
Williams, right? He was a big OU football alum, and
Yeah,
he was the safety with Lex Luger, right?
Yeah,
he
if
was
they
a
were a
USFL
Sooner,
star.
if they were Sooners,
Yeah.
you got over huge with Jim Ross.
Brutal. But yeah, I gotta catch up on the rest of NXT, Pedro, and I'm so behind on NXT UK. I haven't seen any in about 3 weeks.
I'll mention something here one moment, but Heather, about so much knowledge, we're full of useless knowledge. We're all full of a lot of useless knowledge.
Oh, Jim McMahon would have been so over.
Yeah,
Jim McMahon would have been huge.
Oh my God! If he could
He
have
would have been
wrestled,
a perfect heel. He would have been a perfect heel.
yes.
I mean, I don't
Dream
follow-
Tag Team, Tag Team, Jim McMahon and the Boz.
Oh shit!
Oh, Brian Bosworth. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
You talking
know
about
what?
arrogant pricks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine them coming out with sunglasses and bullshit and the dumb haircuts and
Yep, and the
Oh
headband.
yeah!
Yep.
Oh my God! Somebody missed the boat on that shit.
Hell yeah.
oh man. Imagine just running over people and you build up to them versus the fucking Road Warriors.
Oh man!
Smash.
Oh.
Just like big hoss smash.
Yeah. Damn.
Damn.
They definitely missed the boat on that. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, Dr. Death was amateur wrestler. A 4-time All-American in wrestling at Oklahoma, and also an All-American in football. So, he had a lot of. He just didn't quite peak at the right place. And sadly, when UWF went under, that was pretty much,
that was it. Yeah.
He was still good in tag team role, and I think he won a couple of Triple Crowns.
He won it once.
Yeah.
He had some very memorable matches in Japan. Yes.
Yeah.
His dangerous backdrop driver in Japan was just fucking nuts that those people took those bumps.
But yeah, UWF. He was a UWF champ. Some people do, some people don't recognize that as a world title. It was sad that they never were able to combine the UWF title with the NWA world title, because they just couldn't get Dr. Death to come off the damn belt. You know, he was like, I'm not losing to Ric Flair. He's like, you put me in the ring with Ric Flair, I will pin him, and you're gonna, you know. So
Yeah.
that's why the match never happened. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was certainly the attitude that you felt like that if Doc had ever gotten a hold of Ric Flair, that he would have pulled a shitty on him. And
Not a good way to do business, because they could have made a lot of money together doing,
they could have.
Yeah,
And,
you could have put him in a program. You could have made a lot of money.
I mean, and he could have, Dr. Death could have been a short time champ. I mean, he could have been the first UWF NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and then lose it back to Ric Flair a few months later. But who knows? Who knows? That'll be one of the greatest things that never quite happened.
Is everyone okay?
I'm okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, there's that noise. I was like, oh, what just
happened?
I
don't know. I think that could have been the mic on my headphones that's rubbing against my shoulder. Sorry.
Hey, y'all want to talk about something that was not good at all?
Go for
it. What's that?
Just take a guess. I bet you can figure it out.
I'm afraid.
AEW.
Oh, I already know that's not good. I'm sorry. What's that? What's an AEW? I'm sorry. Is that steak sauce? What is that?
Steak sauce.
It's steak sauce and a root beer.
And a root beer. There you go.
I mean, I watched AEW this week. Mostly the same old that we've been getting in the No People AEW stuff. Mostly all from the QT Marshall's school and stuff. But the main event was like a 30-minute, possibly longer than 30-minute match between Jake Hager / Jake Strong / Jack Swagger versus John Moxley for the AEW title in an empty arena match. Called solely by Jim Ross. Filmed the last time they were in some kind of arena or whenever it was filmed. So it wasn't from QT Marshall's school. But oh god, it was so bad. I'm glad I didn't see the hype before the match, like before seeing the episode, because apparently I found this out after the fact. Dave Meltzer had told people before the episode ran that people were telling him, his sources or whatever, telling him that the match was very excellent. And then apparently AEW fans were hyping it up before the episode ran, saying like, oh, this is going to be like the best empty arena match of all time. And it's like just plotting 30 minutes of just these two guys just grunting and stumbling around, slowly brawling around this arena, and Jim Ross sounding bored off his ass, like he just doesn't want to be there.
A lot of boredom issues here lately.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of his AEW run is like that, but
he's just going through the motions. That's what it seems like, right?
It was, it made me think of Edge Orton, except that Edge Orton was longer and didn't have commercial breaks. But it made me think of that in terms of it. And one, I have to give Edge and Orton, at least they were, setting up stunts left and right. There wasn't really stunts. This was just lots of slow plodding, stumbling, brawling. It just lacked energy and everything, and it was awful. It's so awful. I think Gargano Ciampa is maybe slightly worse because I had expectations. I had no expectations for this.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear anything about this match?
I heard absolutely.
I heard it needed an audience. I heard it needed people.
Oh my god! It needed me not to watch it.
You know, the match that that I saw, Jake live, that one year it was him against Nick Aldis. That was a slower, kind of more methodical match, but it was a good, it was a good wrestling match. I mean, it was like pretty old school style to me. I was like, I thought it was a fun match, and I've seen a lot of people, kind of, I don't know, not quite, get his style or whatever, but I mean, I know they're trying to do, use him a little differently, but I don't know. There's just, I just don't watch it, and I'm not, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
Shout out to Luis in the chat room.
Luis, what's up, Luis? What's going on, brother?
The main event wasn't bad. It was hard hitting, but didn't work out without a crowd. Having had another person in the booth would have added some illusion of energy. They really beat themselves up. I'm gonna have to politely disagree on the it wasn't bad part, but yeah.
Angie, what's up, Angie? What's going on?
Angie's there. Oh, it hasn't shown up.
Angie's there.
Yeah. Angie, hola, Angie. Yeah, the main event wasn't for me. That's all I was saying. It wasn't for me.
Angie didn't have to land a process this week, so that's good.
Did we have the discussion on the fact that Nick Aldis is now actually the lineal Lucha Underground champion?
No, how is that?
Well, I mean, the idea that that the title match between because somebody tried to say that Hager losing to Moxley would make Moxley the lineal Lucha Underground champion because it's a title match or his first title match since Lucha Underground. I was like, nope. It's like his first title match was Nick Aldis at WrestleCade, so technically Nick Aldis would be the lineal Lucha Underground champion.
I like that. Maybe we should run with that.
Because I don't think he had another major title shot anywhere else before that.
Can you imagine Nick Aldis was the actual Lucha Underground champion? That'd be something, right?
Boy, that would be. You would have a lot of heat, that's for sure.
Yep.
Hey, but I'm happy you brought up Lucha Underground.
Me too.
Because I watched something this week. I binge watched a lot of episodes of something this week that made me think a lot of Lucha Underground. And that is Major League Wrestling, MLW.
Oh, yeah. Me and James have got to get on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I haven't seen an MLW match in years.
I watched, let's see, a month or so ago, I watched episode 94 because it was the first episode of stuff filmed in 2020. And then I wasn't crazy. I liked a lot of that episode, but the main event was this just god-awful, like no rope barbed wire match between Mance Warner and Jimmy Havoc. And Jimmy Havoc is just, the shit in the ring. He's just terrible. He's just not good in the ring. And so for some reason that match kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't watch more. But like I have a friend named Brian Bell, and then we all have the Bean. Both of them have been telling me forever, watch MLW. So this week, because of everything going on, there's been no CMLL. they're just like a lot of the things that we used to watching just aren't around, and trying to fill it with something, that time with something. And last week I was telling Bean, why don't we just let's start binge watching some of these MLWs. He's seen them all, but I hadn't seen them. Right. So this week I saw from episode 95 through 102. So however many episodes that is. And
like seven or eight.
And oh my God, is such a fun show. I mean, I want to tell everyone on MLW, because the things you liked from Lucha Underground and from the NWA Power and so forth, these are all things you will find in this show. Production level a little cheaper, okay. Production level a little lower, but it's like simple, easy to follow wrestling that breezes by in a 1 hour format. Stuff happens, it leads to something that happens in the next episode, or stuff happening in this episode is paying off something from a previous episode. And everyone up and down the card gets like something to do. They all get some little storyline, some little rivalry, this and that, and it gets built up and pays off here and there, and you get lots of cool like promos and segments, and everything's really entertaining. They take it's a lot like NWA and Lucha Underground, that they take like outcasts, right? These outcasts in wrestling, and like makes, like get all this mileage out of them. What was I gonna say?
So maybe me and James, if we hop on at like episode 95, you think that's a good place?
I think episode 95.
How far should we go?
I would start with episode 95 because, like I said, 94 has that god awful Jimmy Havoc, Mance Warner thing.
Yeah, I don't need to see Jimmy Havoc. Yeah,
and so I saw that episode 94 like a month ago or so, and like I was like, Mance Warner sucks because of this match. And then I see him on these other episodes, and like my first impression, I'm like, oh, he was from that awful Jimmy Havoc match. But then I'm seeing his promos, and he's like hilarious. He's like this kind of a dollar store version of Steve Austin, and but it's like in a funny way, and you warm up to him, and everyone is just. There's lots of funny, entertaining segments, and a surprise for me was like MJF, because I have not liked MJF in AEW. I haven't been into him at all in AEW, but when you see him within the dynasties, like one of the groups, they have tons of factions in the MLW. When you see him with the dynasty, suddenly you're just like, you see the stuff everyone's talking about. You're like, oh, he's actually not so bad. And you watch like him versus, I think it was Marshall Von Erich. There's a match. The way he was working over the hand and doing all this stuff, I was like, oh, like this is actually, pretty decent wrestling. I'd never seen any of this stuff out of him in AEW. I was really legit surprised. Like I was like, oh, he's really not bad here. And
good job.
Another thing is like, y'all got to see Contra Unit. That's stable. Holy shit! When you see Jacob Fatu and the things that guy can do for his size, and
I've heard he's really good. I've seen some highlight stuff. He's pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, he's a beast. And I mean, there's just so much. I really have gotten into it this week, like watching so many episodes. It's been a highlight of the week in a way, is like, watching the MLW stuff. I still have, I think I have like 3 or 4 episodes to go to like get completely caught up with what's happening from this year. But I really recommend it to everyone. Watch some MLW. Start with episode 95. just to be caught up on stuff from this year and just start watching them. And there's such a variety of wrestling action in them. You're going to get like spot fest stuff. You're going to get like weird kind of like catch wrestling, stiff catch wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Get like brawling. You're going to get this and that. And the thing that has probably made me mark out more than anything are the Von Erichs, Kevin's kids.
Mm-hmm.
And them coming out to
Wranglehole, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mark out like a kid. Like the more episodes I see, the more I mark out. Like, oh my god. Yeah, there's so many acts that you're just like, oh my god. Like you start seeing things the more you watch them. Like there's some you'll be like, oh, they're not so good. And then maybe they're not so good in the ring. And then you see them doing segments after, in each episode, and you start enjoying their promos or whatever. And you start, you don't care so much about the in-ring. You're like, oh, well, they're funny or whatever. And you can watch all this on YouTube.
Awesome. So besides Fatu, is there anybody else that we should look out for?
I mean, everyone in a way.
Everyone's good. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying everyone is good.
On Twitter.
Who's Zeus?
Alex Hammerstone. He's pretty cool dude on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Hammerstone is super impressive. I mean, I think y'all will like him. But Davey Boy Smith Jr., it is like when you watch him here and then you see you're like, how did people miss the boat on this guy? Like, he should have been a huge deal. I don't know if he had some issues. I don't know if he had issues like that in WWE. Do y'all know?
Him and Archer were 3-time IWGP Tag Team Champions.
Right.
They had a nice run.
He's really good here. Simon Gotch. Do you remember the Vaudevillains, James?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god, he's part of Contra Unit. You won't even recognize the guy.
Really?
You won't recognize him at all.
I'm definitely going to start watching that this week.
Yeah.
Tom Lawler.
I need to watch that.
Do you know that he was in the UFC, Tom Lawler?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That guy is awesome as a wrestling character.
I heard he's really good. I heard he's one of those guys that's got it. He gets it, and he likes the whole aspect of wrestling.
Oh yeah, he is hilarious, and the way he builds up stuff is so awesome. He's great. The way he pissed off Texas in the Dallas tapings in the some of these episodes is the crowd heat is just like die, and then when they go to the Philly episodes, the crowd heat is even more, and and you're like it's insane.
Now, I want to ask you something. Pedro.
Yes.
Is this the same MLW, or is it with new owners and everything? Because I remember watching MLW like 2-3 years ago. Right.
Well, I remember MLW in like 2002,
right.
2003, that time period. It's the same guy, Court Bauer. He's still the guy in charge, and yeah, he's only brought it back a few years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen like the last time I saw MLW, like I saw a few episodes, like obviously like a few years ago. It was okay. It was pretty cool. It was all right, but like it didn't catch my interest then. So, but I'll definitely give it a look now. Absolutely.
And Angie brought up Brian Pillman Jr. Yes, he is there.
That kid's on his way.
Yeah. There's a group called Injustice. I think y'all will get a kick out of them. They're very annoying, so you'll hate them, but you learn to like love to hate them.
Mm-hmm.
Savio Vega.
He's there?
Ancient old Savio Vega is there, and I was like, "There's no way this guy is gonna. It's probably gonna be embarrassing." But
is he 106?
He's surprisingly he's still able to pull off his signature spots and everything, and you're just like, oh my god, like Savio Vega.
That's awesome.
Savio Vega. Oh my God.
So just in closing, just check out MLW, give it a shot. I think
sounds good.
Lucha Underground city shots. You remember how Lucha Underground always had those signature city shots?
Yeah.
And Chris DeJoseph is part of the creative on MLW, so you'll definitely see that thumbprint.
He definitely catches influence there. Yeah. That's good. It's good stuff, man. Thanks, Pedro. Yeah, I definitely need to check out something. WWE's not doing it for me.
God,
Again,
no.
it was like background noise. It was background noise. And, I haven't even seen NXT UK because I'm like 3 weeks behind on that.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, Lewis brought up King Mo is in MLW as well. They're doing a great job. They're building up him versus Loki. Well, I don't know if they've had the match yet. I'm still behind, But they've been building up him versus Loki as a battle of knockout artists. So, like, that's been really exciting. But I'm sorry, James. You were saying you're behind on NXT UK?
Yeah, I'm way behind. I'm about 3 weeks. So,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
The last episode I caught up on, was it March 26th episode yesterday? So I'm behind myself.
Okay.
Did you see that episode with Jordan Devlin versus Travis Banks?
No. I have to see that. You
need to see that match. That's a super good match. And there's a match on there, A-Kid versus Noah. What's that guy's name? That Scottish guy, Noam Dar?
Yeah.
Oh, that match is pretty good too.
Okay,
A-Kid has tons of potential. Do you all know A-Kid?
A-Kid? No.
He's from Spain. He's a Spanish wrestler. He's super good. I'm sorry, Zeus. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, the King Mo you're talking about is the King Mo who was an MMA fighter, right?
Yes, from Bellator. And he did some stuff in TNA for a little bit too.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, his first match was a tag team match, him and Lashley at WrestleCade a few years ago. And he fucking was terrible. Oh, Jesus, that was hard to fucking watch.
I can imagine.
I mean, I was just like, Jesus. I'm like, because here's the thing. It's like, he's a good fighter. And I liked watching him fight. And he was good doing commentary for MMA. He was doing some Strike Force, I think, before it folded up. And I liked the guy. I thought he was pretty intelligent and everything. And then, it's like, then he was at WrestleCade, I think it was 2017. And I'm sitting there watching that match, and I'm just like, God, I'm like, he's like putting things together in his head. Like you can see his brain working while he should be doing shit. It's like he gets hit and he's like, okay, so like I gotta lean forward a little bit, then I gotta lean back, and I gotta fall down, and I gotta break fall, and then I gotta slap the mat, and like then he would do it. And it's like, fucking do it. Stop thinking about it. Fucking do it.
Yeah, he didn't have enough time. I guess, like in training. Because isn't the theory like with the training, you do it over and over again till it's like second nature?
It's supposed to be second nature. Yeah.
Well, it looks like he had about a day of training.
Yeah. I remember them bringing him in on TNA, and they were building up stuff. I don't know if he actually had matches in TNA. He may have, but I know he was in TNA. But there was mostly hyping up stuff.
Like, speaking of TNA, why is Gunner getting second life, and why is he on SmackDown television with the whole thing with the Forgotten Sons again? With this, really? Oh,
who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, it's that's. There's just no questioning the incredibly, the stuff that just doesn't resonate with us, man. I mean, we are not their fans,
No,
I mean, they are.
We're definitely not the target audience.
Yeah.
No, we're not. And I mean, they don't care. I mean, you know, that we've known this. You know, the occasional enjoyment, you know, we get to see, you know, at times with WWE is few and far between. I mean, you know, yes, we are the get off my lawn guys. We are the, you know, it's just not for us. I mean, I see all these, you know, I got a ton of mutuals on Twitter, and they love so much of it. And they're all younger. I mean, most of them are like, you know, 30, between 20 and 30. And that's fine. You know, it's like, if you love it, that's great. I'm so happy not watching it. You know, not watching AEW. I'm not watching, you know, WWE. And I swear, you know, and I'll go to another WWE live show. I mean, I'll go because, I mean, being there live is a lot different. You know, it's, you know, it's a lot more fun. But you know, I'm so much happier not watching it on TV because it just hurts my fucking head.
I see another Forgotten Son vignette. I'm gonna throw up.
It is crazy how much they've stood behind this Forgotten Sons when they've never gotten any traction like in NXT.
The only good that's coming out of this, is that they got absolutely zero pop in NXT. So every time they go into an empty arena SmackDown, they're actually used to the noise, which is nothing. Okay, so like, why are they pushing them? Like, really? What? Stop!
Oh my God!
Horrible. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I actually miss Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I actually miss, like, you know, I definitely miss New Japan.
Yes.
You know, I miss NWA Power. I mean, I even miss Melina. What the hell? You know?
I don't miss Melina.
No, I love her. She is just one big rolling just infection. She's brutal. I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, speaking of NWA tonight, everybody watch live starting at 7 p.m. They are showing the 2019 Crockett Cup.
Oh,
look for me. Right. Look for my big bald head in the second row.
Of course, he's in the second row because he's not super. He's not famous. He's super famous.
If I was really super famous, I'd be in the front row.
Oh, excuse us. Us peons over here, Pedro, you know? I mean, actually being super famous. Aren't you going to be on a podcast on Monday or something like that?
Oh, yeah. The Mid-South Memories podcast. I'm going to record 2 episodes on Monday after work, so that's going to be fun.
Awesome.
You were dropping Mid-South
great
knowledge.
guest on the other episode you were on, so 2 episodes. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked for that. So I gotta watch the episodes this weekend, and then we'll
what areas you guys covering?
It's back to the I think 1985 or no 1984. So it's still before really they became, you know, a massive, you know, success or, you know, known,
right,
you know, I think
right before they took off.
Yeah, right before they took off, and then they couldn't keep up with the fucking the pay of WWF and everybody else, and they got, you know, talent rated to death. But, you know,
sounds good. Good job.
Gonna be exciting. And
Zeus is everywhere.
I guess we will see y'all next week. Thanks to everyone who was in the chat: Kayusha Queen, Heather, Luis, and Angie.
Congratulations to the Road Warriors.
Yes, congratulations
to the Road Warriors.
Angie, I will try to watch that movie this week, the one on New Japan World about my dad is a heel wrestler.
Oh yeah, I want to see that too.
Mm-hmm. And Angie, you do not have to follow any kind of formal process this week, so you're good.
Yes.
And I want to thank Luis for hanging out in the chat. Thank the Kaiju Queen Heather, and of course the Angie.
And we will see y'all, God willing, next week. Everyone stay safe. Stay healthy.
Please stay safe.
Apologies to the Way Too Real crew. I wasn't around last night, but
I was hanging with them. What's up, fellas and ladies?
Oh, we got to give a shout out to Double Y Double H. She couldn't make it. She's not feeling 100% and too tired. So
yes,
Y2H2, get better.
Yeah,
have some cake.
Get better. And everyone take care and adieu.
Peace.